Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to impartially break down a really fascinating, completely viral DIY home remedy. This one comes straight from the YouTube channel Wie man pocht. Now, if you spend any time at all looking at natural wellness content online, you know the drill. You've definitely seen everyday kitchen ingredients being hyped up for some pretty incredible health properties. So today, we're zeroing in entirely on the specific claims and instructions laid out in this wildly popular recipe. We're going to unpack the exact recipe, the purported benefits, and those final, kind of surprising warnings. Let's see exactly what this viral trend is actually all about. Right out of the gate, the translated title of the source material hits us with this incredibly bold claim. I mean, it literally reads, "A plant that heals everything." And they aren't kidding around. It explicitly lists the liver, eyesight, kidneys, intestines, heart, and even your bones. Now, what's really interesting here, right, is just the sheer scale of the promise they're making. This isn't framed as some minor little morning health boost. It's presented as a comprehensive, full-body restorative. And remember, as an explainer, our goal here isn't to validate or debunk this. We just want to understand exactly how the source justifies such a massive claim.
Section 1. Power of the ingredients.
So the entire core of this remedy relies on two primary ingredients, and they have very different nutritional profiles. On one side, we have raisins. According to the source, they're bringing energy, potassium, magnesium, and B vitamins to the table. And then on the other side, we've got lemons, packing a serious punch with vitamin C, antioxidants, and citric acid. And this honestly perfectly illustrates the strategy behind the recipe. It's all about combining a mineral-heavy, energy-dense dried fruit with an antioxidant-rich, highly acidic citrus fruit to create what's supposedly this massive synergistic effect.
Let's actually break down what the source says these ingredients do, starting with those raisins. The claim here is that the raisins alone can do everything from strengthening your heart and your nervous system to increasing your hemoglobin levels and literally cleansing the entire body. It also points to improved digestion and a boosted immune system. So the crucial takeaway here is that the humble raisin, the thing you might just toss in your oatmeal, is positioned not just as a quick snack, but as this multifunctional powerhouse actively working on your cardiovascular, digestive, and nervous systems all at the exact same time. Meanwhile, the lemon gets cited for its own very specific set of powerful properties. The source claims it strengthens the immune system, improves digestion, and further supports overall heart health. And you'll notice a huge overlap between these two sets of benefits, right? Both of these ingredients are credited with aiding digestion, supporting the heart, and boosting immunity. The narrative they're building relies really heavily on this doubling up effect. It suggests that together, these two everyday kitchen staples create this sort of overlapping, impenetrable shield of health benefits.
Section 2. The preparation process. So, how do we make it? Well, the meticulous preparation process starts with bringing exactly 2 cups of water to a rolling boil. Next up, there's this very specific, honestly almost surprisingly precise cleaning instruction. You have to wash half a cup of raisins using exactly 1 tablespoon of baking soda. It's a fascinating little detail, likely meant to meticulously scrub any impurities or residues off the fruit before the main event. Once they're washed, the recipe dictates that they must steep in that boiled water for precisely 1 hour. And this steeping phase, this is presented as the critical, absolute make-or-break moment where the raisins finally unlock all their potential. Now, while those raisins are steeping away, you're instructed to turn your attention over to the lemon, and you have to divide it up with total precision. First, wash it thoroughly. Then, juice exactly 1/2 of it, and set that juice aside. Don't lose it, we're going to need it later. Next, you carefully chop the zest of the lemon. And finally, you take the entire remaining half of the lemon and finally chop that up as well. So literally every single part of the lemon, the juice, the zest, the flesh, it is all deliberately utilized in the final preparation. Nothing gets wasted.
Section 3. The drink and paste.
Okay, so with steeped raisins, a pot of treated water, reserved lemon juice, and finely chopped lemon bits all just sitting there on your counter, you might be wondering, how do I actually take this remedy? Well, the recipe doesn't just tell you to toss it all into a single bowl and eat it. Instead, the whole thing branches out. How exactly do you consume this crazy array of prepped ingredients to get those massive full-body benefits we talked about at the start?
Well, it turns out this single preparation process actually reveals a really clever 2-for-1 yield. First up, we have remedy number 1, the steeped drink. By taking that reserved lemon juice and adding it directly into the liquid that the raisins have been soaking in, you create a beverage. The instruction here is to drink exactly 1 cup of this concoction. And the specific claim attached to this drink? The source says it strengthens the immune system, your heart function, and your blood vessels. It's essentially presented as your daily liquid defense system. But wait,
Remember all those raisins that were left behind after you poured the liquid off? You absolutely do not want to throw those away. This brings us right to remedy number 2, the blended paste. For this, you take those steeped, softened raisins, process them in a blender until they're totally smooth, and then pour that resulting thick paste into a glass container. So think about that. From just one pot of boiling water and a couple of basic ingredients, you've just created 2 entirely distinct formats of the remedy.
And just as the drink had its specific targets, so does the paste. The video claims this blended paste targets your skeletal structure and your vision. Specifically, it says it strengthens bones, strengthens eyesight, and improves digestion. If we trace this all the way back to those bold claims at the very beginning of the explainer, we can actually see how the bodily repairs are getting delegated, right? The liquid handles the heart and the blood, while this thick blended raisin paste is touted as the real heavy lifter for your skeletal structure and your vision.
Section 4. Dosage and contraindications. When we get to the end, the number 3 becomes highly significant in the final instructions. The explicit dosage for the blended paste is exactly 1 teaspoon taken 3 times a day. You are definitely not meant to just eat it all at once like a jar of jam. It's treated almost exactly like a prescription, 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. Furthermore, the source heavily stresses that this glass container of paste must always be stored in the refrigerator to maintain its integrity. So we're looking at a highly structured daily regimen here, rather than just some one-off quick fix. However, despite all of those sweeping claims about healing everything from your liver to your bones, the recipe notably ends with a really stark, responsible warning. Right at the end, the text flashes, "See contraindications. Take care." And honestly, this is a fascinating pivot. After spending all this time building up these raisins and lemons as this ultimate miracle cure-all, the source suddenly acknowledges that this potent combination might actually not be safe for absolutely everyone. The responsibility is left firmly squarely in the hands of the viewer to figure out what those risks might actually be. Which leaves us with a pretty critical thought to close on today. Given these powerful purported effects, we're talking about altering blood vessels, changing digestion, impacting the heart. What personal medical contraindications should you independently research before trying a viral DIY cure like this? You're given the recipe, you're given all the promises, but the safety research, that is left entirely up to you. It's just a really great reminder that even the most natural, everyday kitchen ingredients can interact with our bodies in some incredibly complex ways. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me as we unpacked the claims behind this viral remedy. Stay curious, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.